you go. Okay, now I have to wait for Jim.
I text him.
Yeah, say sorry. Was a technical problem.
But I don't know if he's getting my text because my phone's kind of weird. Oh, he's back.
He's back. There you go. Sorry, Jim. Was a technical problem. I did that. My fault.
You are on mute, Jim. We cannot hear you.
The microphone.
All right.
Okay, there you go. I'll try to do right this time.
That's okay. I couldn't do it any better.
Okay. Fine. Okay, so that's fine if you don't finish today. That's the idea. You're not gonna rush. It's just 16 questions, but it's still, since we have until 6:30, let's do our best. All right. Everybody's gonna have the chance to read, okay? So everybody can see my page here, the word. Okay, great.
Yes.
Great. So, okay, as everybody knows, we are going to study the Spirit book. And I don't know if everybody's aware, the Spirits book is a part of the Spiritist codification and is regarded as one of the 5 fundamental works of Spiritists. It was published by the French educator Allan Kardec on April 18th, 1857. It was the first and remains the most important Spiritist book because it addresses in first-hand all questions developed subsequently by Allan Kardec. So basic, it's questions and answers on this book. It's 1,000 something. It is something like this. I had a number. It's 2011, something like this, where it's 64. Something like more than 1,000 questions. That's why we have to take our time. All right, and then we'll start for sure from the first chapter, God. And in this chapter, you're going to see God and infinity, proofs of God's existence, attributes of divinity, pantheism, God and infinity. I'm going to read the first question, okay? But everybody's gonna have the chance to read. So it's gonna be how many people are here? So we were in 7, right? So everybody's gonna have the chance to read. And let's start it. So the first question, what is God? And the spirits, God is the supreme intelligence, the first cause of all things. That's it. There's a very smart question, actually, when you're thinking about this question, because Kardec didn't ask who is God and what is God. Understanding that God's not a person, it's something. And the spirits give the answer about something more than you can imagine, above anything that you can understand. Supreme intelligence and the first cause of all things. That's it for the moment, for now. For we can understand for right now. I'm gonna make Tiago read the second question, okay? And then so on. And of course, if you want to talk, say something, do it, okay?
Yeah, the study is supposed to be really engaging. And pretty much the reason why we're doing this is just to like pretty much break down, according with Swellen told me, to make it easy for everybody to understand. And the Spirits book, I believe, in my opinion, can be also very difficult, but on the other way, it can be very simple since it's only answers and questions. Like Swellen said, we really should take our time to understand each questions and even how can we apply in our lives. So question number 2, what is to be understood by infinity? The answer, the which has either a beginning nor an end. I'm sorry. The which I can read. I'm blind, guys. Sorry. So once again, the question is, what is to be understood by infinity? The answer, the which has neither a beginning nor an end. The unknown. All that is unknown, it's infinite. So pretty much what I understand, okay, and once again, I don't know if I'm right or wrong. So what I could understand by that, it is that, like the answer said, is the infinite. You know, it's everything else besides what we know. So what we know, it is knowledge to us, what we know how to describe, and everything else is the infinity. So that's what I got from.
Any comments so far? No? Good.
Well, does that mean then, because we don't know everything, but when we start studying and knowing, that might become more easy for us to understand. So maybe it's not infinity anymore. You know what I mean? Like sometimes there is a lot of things that we don't know, but with our study, it can be in anything. I mean, it becomes easier for us to understand. So maybe that can be, this answer can be different for a lot of, it's not the same answer for everyone, because what might be very unknown for me might be very easy and then knowledgeable for somebody else, right?
Yeah, I think there's 2 or 3 more questions down that like you're gonna kind of answer what you just said.
Okay.
And as the point of infinite here, you're going to understand that in the second about what the spirits mean about the unknown is infinite.
Or maybe it's something that will never be understood, like we think we know about the atmosphere and, you know, all the planets and all that. Well, we might not ever know everything. So maybe that's the answer for that as well.
You're going to see in a bit.
Okay.
Other things. So the phrases that is underlined, it's Kardec's comment. Okay, not everything on this book is the answers is from the spirits, but everything that is underlined, it's Kardec's comments based on the spirit's answers. He put his comments as well. Okay, after these studies, of course. Okay, so Jim, can you read the third question? Can you see?
Yeah. Can it be said that God is the infinite? This is an incomplete definition. One shortcoming of the language of humankind is that it lacks the ability to define that which transcends human intelligence. And then you want me to read the paragraph underneath that?
Yes, please. Those is that Kardec's comment.
God is infinite in divine perfections, but infinitely is an abstraction. Asserting that God is infinite is to substitute the attribute of something with the thing itself, and to define something unknown by reference to something else that is likewise unknown. Yeah, you know, he's commenting on the kind of lines I was thinking. I almost think that this is an exercise in negation, and what I mean by that, it's to tell us what God is not.
Exactly.
As opposed to what God is, because we can't understand it. But we can understand what God is. And so my guess is maybe with that process, we're sort of emptying ourselves of all these kinds of judgments or preconceived notions about God and making ourselves open to be inspired by something or to gain some kind of higher insight, which is non-intellectual. So that's when I'm seeing this, because when I had done the reading, I'm thinking, he could summarize this whole thing in a paragraph
It's true.
and make the point, but I guess people need to go through an intellectual process just the same. So it's like going through an intellectual process in order to get you to a place that you don't know.
True.
And then
Yeah.
you drop the intellect. That, I don't know. But
That's definitely the definition, and I can tell that you read the rest of the chapter, because that's he's explained. It's more explained that what God is. It's something that we don't know, but what God doesn't. It's more about to understand that part which you can understand right now, but what God is, no. Not this time, not for now. But that's why the spirit, and you have to remind that Kardec was an educator, so so he wants to go through every single step of the study and breaking down. And as you said, so sometimes has people that need to understand in details those things. But this explanation is very good from him. Define that God's an infinite. So what is infinite? You don't know what is infinite. So you can define something that you don't know to describe something else that you don't know either. So that's why he said that it's a shortcoming of the language of humankind. You don't have vocabulary yet, knowledge to understand this.
Yep.
That's why he summarized on this, as I said. Okay, somebody else can go on. So, okay, Samantha, your turn.
Proof of God. What?
who goes?
Oh, Samantha.
I go. Proof of God's existence. Where can the proof of God's existence be found? In a promise that is applied in science. There is no effect without a cause. Investigate the cause of anything that is not the work of human beings, and reason shall provide the answer. To believe in God, simply observe the works of creation. The universe exists, therefore there is a cause. Doubting the existence of God would be to deny that every effect has a cause, and to presuppose the idea that something could be created from nothing. So for me, like this answer, it's when, for me it's easy to understand when I imagine myself, or when I go like somewhere very nature, like when I see mountains, and I see the sea, and I see things like that we know are not humans creation. Sometimes we find ourselves living in a town, in a city. We find ourselves very material, right? But when we go somewhere like that, nature, it's when you can, for me it's easy to, when I see things like that, to go deep into this answer here regarding the things that are not human created. Of course, we're talking about also feelings and everything else, but when I see nature, for me, it's very well explained, this answer.
Yeah, this is one of the points. And I believe as well, because once I saw this guy talking about this question, he's a very knowledgeable guy in Brazil about spiritism, and he said, the question 4 was made for those ones that believe in God already and the ones that don't believe. But if for those one that believe, to know how to explain when somebody asks,
Yeah.
where can the proof of God's existence be found? And this answer is simple. And of course, for people that don't believe, have to dig in a little bit more in their hearts, in their spirit to understand. But well, if it's not humankind, if not a humankind made it, who did?
Yeah, and I mean, even like for us that believe in God, for me that believe in God, like I said, we can get so lost into this crazy, world that we live. So it's sometimes we need the affirmation that yes, look at this. Who
Yeah.
else would have created this, right?
Yeah.
I think though also it's in referencing science, it's also indicating that through science you will find the evidence, right? If you're really being scientific about things.
Mm-hmm. Yes. We had a lecture for this lady from Brazil. Her name is Anete Guimarães, and she said, God is math, and math is science. So you can't explain God by math, true math, mathematically saying. I was like, oh, that makes so.
Right.
Then she got like a huge explanation science about the existence of God. It was like amazing. But yeah, you're right, Rob.
Because you can, because through science, you can identify and understand so-called laws of nature. Well, why do we call them laws of nature, right? Because they're consistent and they're ordered. And if we investigate and we really look into things and ask why, we can have some sort of understanding of it, right?
Yeah.
And uh, it's impossible that there wouldn't be some sort of order without there being a first cause or a creator, because, right, if things were even a little bit different, then the Earth would have crashed into Mars, like, a million years ago or something, right?
Yep.
But that did not happen because the order of the universe is this way, not some other way. So there has to be an intelligence behind why that is so.
Yep. Yeah, that's a good explanation. Has to be the intelligence behind administrating all those things, right? As said, nothing coming from nothing. All the facts has a cause.
Yeah.
Okay, Rob, can you read the number 6, please? I'm sorry, number 5.
Yes. 5. What inference can be drawn from the innate perception possessed by all of humanity concerning God's existence? And the answer, that God exists, because from where would this idea originate if there were no real basis? Once again, this is a corollary of the principle stating that there can be no effect without a cause.
You want to comment, Rob? I think it's like basic where you were saying, right?
Yeah, yeah, pretty much. Yeah, it's pretty much the same thing.
Yeah. When you if you starting thinking about at the beginning of humankind in this earth, and notice through the history, through people that the scientists that investigating the history, and they ended up seeing that those people back there, they already believe in God. So where did it come from, this idea?
Right.
This is a fact, not the cause.
Right. And it's a universal concept, right?
Mm-hmm.
So similar to wherever you go in the world, a dog will wag its tail. Wherever you go in the world, human beings believe in something divine, something greater than themselves, some sort of deity. So that you could almost say that's kind of like that's programmed into us. Well, why would that be?
Right.
You know, there has to be a, you know, a programmer of that if it's universal.
True. Anybody else want to comment?
Yeah, I mean, even when you look at the esoteric philosophies from the East, they always describe this oneness, and they put a lot of practice on dropping the self. So it's kind of like they realize, because they don't approach things very intellectually. Um, you know, their way is see through the self, drop the self, and then you'll be aware of much more. You know, basically, and what that is, it can't be put in. They always say cannot be put into words or ideas or any of that. It's a direct experience. And that's what I would call the oneness with God, whatever. So, and primitive cultures knew how to do that very easily.
Mm-hmm.
We became very intellectual, very complicated, very much with a lot of things, very materialistic, and not all materialism is bad, but we became very complicated and we kind of separated ourselves and we forgot how to return to that state of being.
Yeah,
So
definitely. Through the
Oh, I was gonna make a comment, but I think it also is also gonna be part of the next question because this is like when you ask a kid, you know, do you believe in God? Yes. Why? I don't know, but I do.
right. Yeah, I think that's part of next question.
Yeah,
Yeah,
something about the next one
yeah.
too. Yeah. Why? I don't know.
Why?
Ask any kid, but I do.
Okay, Lolo, do you want to read it?
Of course, it's 6, right?
Yeah.
Could our intuitive sense of God's existence simply be the result of education and the product of acquired ideas? If such were the case, how could this intuitive sense be retained by primitive cultures? If the sentiment of the existence of a supreme being were solely the result of education, it would not be universal and would only exist, like all acquired knowledge, in the minds of those who have received this education.
Do you want to comment, Lolo?
No, I kind of passed this one because I really want to comment 2 other questions that is coming, you know.
Okay. Hold for that.
I hold for them one. I'll hold my tongue.
But it's basically what you were saying, and Jim and Rob was saying as well, as Jim said, the primitive cultures, they already have this. So how could this happen if it was not a cause, something before, And it's not, could be just solely education because it's universal. And like all other knowledge would have received by education, but let's say let's put in an example. I mean, nowadays it's kind of complicated to say this example because if you don't believe in God, you already heard about God at some point in your life. But let's say in a time that you don't have internet, okay? And the kid was just born and raised by parents that don't believe in God or don't know about existing God or don't know about any God, and starting believing something like this. So if that kid didn't receive this education, where it came from? So it's kind of questions that you have to thinking about it, because it's not something that you learn. Maybe, and nowadays it is, but in the beginning, how that, when you go through history, just Google it. It has so many interesting things, like when you Google about those ancient population, tribes, Egyptians, you know already, they have like believe on this, kind sort of believe on this. But before this, they were believing something, and science is there to prove it as well by the studies. I think it's basically what we are talking about it. Somebody else? No? Okay. Let's move on for question 7. So Lou, do you read the question 7?
Is the first cause of creation found in the essential properties of matter? The answer is, then what would be the cause of these properties? There must always be a first cause. To attribute creation to the essential properties of matter would be to consider the effect as a cause, because these properties are an effect which must in turn have a cause.
You want to comment, Lou?
No, go ahead with the comment.
No, okay. Anybody else?
I have to read it again.
They're
Okay.
saying that something, you can find something more within something else.
Mm-hmm.
And no matter how much you break it down or go even more intricately, there is something more. And
There's always going to be something primary, right? Like,
right.
Yeah, because it's basically asking if the first cause of creation, if it would be found in the essential properties of matter, the matter. Okay.
Mhm.
But then the spirits, then what would be the cause of the properties? It's always
Yeah.
something. If you start digging in, it's always, you're going to end it up in a position, in a situation of thinking, in a thought that, okay, I have to stop here because after that, I don't know. It's always something.
Yep.
yeah, it's almost, this answer is almost like, stop digging.
Right.
Yeah, basically, that's what I'm going to say in the chapter.
But it also goes back to the previous answer about the limitations of human intelligence, because right, is like some ancient people who used to say, right, what keeps the the earth in the air, right? And they'd say, well, because there's a turtle underneath the earth. And then the answer would be, well, what's underneath the turtle? Another turtle underneath, right? So we know that logically somehow it's impossible that it would just infinitely go back without an original cause. But our intelligence is limited in being able to comprehend how that's even possible. We know it must be, but we're incapable of truly understanding why that's true.
True. And I believe, and I was thinking here while we were talking, Rob, as I know most of you over here, I believe that is for us, it's not say easy, but easier to acknowledge this, that it's something above us and we still have to evolve a lot in order to understand a lot of things. But has some people, and I'm pretty sure they're out there, that they're going to read this and that they're not going to accept by the fact that they can understand. Because sometimes you don't believe in something because you just don't understand, or you don't accept something because you don't understand. And that's why I really like this book, because put it on the shoes that, wait a second, you guys not everything. You guys have a lot of things to learn in order to understand a whole other things. And the explanations from the spirits is pretty clear on that. That's what my thoughts. Okay, so number 9. Carol, do you read it, please?
Yeah,
9.
but maybe
É o 8, amiga.
It's 8? Okay.
I
Sorry,
forgot.
it's 8. I'm sorry, I spoke Portuguese. Sorry, guys.
Amig's friend. Sorry.
All right. So I didn't know we could skip the comments. Probably that's what I'm gonna do because I was reading this question and I'm like, I have no idea what to say.
I have a
I
comment
will,
on this question. I can take your
I
turn.
will pass my comment.
Which question? 7, 8.
Yeah, I have my comment is on
read.
8, Carol. So you can
Eight?
read it and I'll comment.
Thank you, Eloa, lifesaver.
Okay, so
my
I'll
first
just
time-
read it and then I'll comment.
Jim, it's my first time studying this book. And
Is
in
it?
English, it's like Chinese sometimes, but we go.
Oh, come on. You speak English almost as good as I do.
Yeah, well, I might speak, but I don't understand. Let's try this. What should we think of the opinion that creation was an unplanned combination of matter, in other words, pure chance? Another absurdity.
Yes. Yes.
Okay. What person possessing common sense can seriously view chances as an intelligent agent? Besides, what is chance? Nothing. Yeah, definitely I will pass. The harmony that regulates the universe can only result from predetermined combinations and ends, thereby revealing the existence of an intelligent power. Attributing creation to chance is irrational because chance is blind and cannot produce the effects of intelligence. If chance were intelligence, it would no longer be a chance. Yeah. Go for it, Eloa.
All right.
Yours.
My question for that was like
Oh, it's not a comment, it's a question. Oh my
it's
God.
a common question. Maybe everyone can help, you know. So when I was reading the first part of the question, then after the comment, I was thinking. Remember when you talked previously about like the Big Bang theory that like we study at school? That like the explosion, I don't know exactly what it is. I remember like super briefly that was an explosion that happened, and because of the chemistry and physics with all this that happened, like a lot of things were created and everything else, right? So I was wondering if the Big Bang theory could be something like not a fake or like a false theory, but like it could be like a, oh my gosh, how can I explain? It's hard. It's very hard to put in words in English, but like these could be like attributed to the Big Bang theory, because like Big Bang theory is actually something that was like premeditated, you know, like it just happened because of the particles and everything else. So these also could be something that God allowed to happen, so then everything was created. You know what I mean? Do you guys like understood what I'm trying to say here?
But pretty much what the book's saying, of my understanding, is like, who said the Big Bang was just a chance? Who said it wasn't premeditated before? That's what I got the question. I believe even the Big Bang, it seems to be just like, oh, it just happened to us, to our eyes, but maybe it wasn't. Maybe it was premeditated. That's what the question says.
Yes, I mean, it's a good example from the Big Bang, but putting the Big Bang aside because it's still a theory. It's not something 100% proved by science because it's still a theory, because they have to get explanation and they still trying an explanation of that. But basically it's chance. Chance don't do nothing. You know, something has to do something. There is basically the explanation on this question. So if chance were intelligent, would be no longer be chance. So to create something intelligence has to be something intelligence. So even the behind the creation,
Yeah.
the creator, right?
Yeah, like you just got me, because we do learn like Big Bang in school, so like as part of science, right? Also because it related also with quantum physics, with all the particles, chemistry, and everything, which is something that is totally related to spiritism, So like that's why it got me a little bit confusing on that one. Like maybe he's saying that the Big Bang Theory cannot be possible because of course like God is behind of everything, but at the same time like that's how, I don't know, God like premeditated, I'm gonna do that so then these particles can get combined and there's the creation starts, you know what I mean?
I think that's the idea. I believe that from my point of view of this question, that is the idea.
Well, I think I think it has a double meaning in a way. I'll just like very briefly talk about the Big Bang. I think Eloa is right that, the Big Bang is just another version of what's underneath the turtle, another turtle. It's just another version of that, but more subtle. Because, okay, so this stuff that banged, where did that come from?
Right. It's
There's
all
got to
something
be,
before.
right?
Yeah, that's good.
There's got to be a cause of that, right? And at some point, you intuit there's a first cause, right? You don't know how that's possible, but your intuition tells you that is true. And then when it talks about what is chance, nothing, that's meaningful in two ways because, right, chance you can take to be one of those other words like infinite that you can't really define. It's just it's just an abstraction in that sense. So in that sense, it's nothing. But also, if you do an analogy to what we know as things that are, say, games of chance in the human world, right? Okay, so you play a game of dice or you play blackjack or something like that. Well, there's still, there's still someone that has to throw the dice, an intelligence that has to throw the dice. There's an intelligence that has to shuffle the cards, right? And pick the cards. So likewise, things that we say that we might want to attribute to chance as far as why they exist or why they exist in the way they do, you ultimately have to come to the conclusion, well, it was designed to be that way, which is back to, so who designed that? And if it was designed to be that way, then chance is nothing because chance doesn't actually exist.
Yep.
Even a lot of the scientists and different people in physics and astronomers are kind of agreeing that the universe could not have been created by chance alone. Because when they study it, even scientifically, the timing had to be so precise and so many causes and conditions had to come together in such a precise, intricate way for anything to be created. And they said none of that could happen by mere chance. And that there had to been some kind of force or something that sort of brought all this together in the way it did. So they even look at it too, that they don't know what that is, but they say it's more than just chance.
Yep. I would define, it's basic that I would define this question 8 and so on is going to be more like, let's take the example for the Big Bang again. The Big Bang is the fact. It has a cause. The Big Bang could be the cause of the existence of the Earth, but it was the cause of the Big Bang. You have always beginning before, and at some point you're going to stop it. But yes, I will put Eugene and Robbie to explain the whole book next time. I like that. I like the explanations. All right. So I think come back to me, right? If I'm wrong, just let me know. Number 9, right?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So where may we see in the first cause of all things a supreme intelligence superior to all other intelligence? Answer. There is the proverb that dictates, the worker is known by his or her work. In that case, look at the work and you find the author. Pride is what creates skeptics. Skeptics?
Skeptics.
Skeptics, thank you. Arrogant human beings want nothing to be above them, which is why they are called strong-minded. Pitiful beings, just one breath from God would obliterate them. Like, it's so powerful answer, and put us in a position that you guys just want to believe in something that you understand. If you don't understand, whatever, that does not exist. Well, let's read the explanation. We evaluate the power of intelligence by its works, like the creations, the nature creation itself. It's something,
Sunrise.
it's powerful already. It's like Tiago's saying, the sunrise. How a human can create that so perfect, you know? So those little things that sometimes you're thinking about it. We evaluate the power of intelligence by its works, as no human being could create that which is produced by nature, as the example of sunrise, sunset. The first cause must be superior to humans, regardless of the wonders accomplished by humankind. Human intelligence itself has a cause, and the greater the results achieved, the greater the cause of each is the effect. It is the supreme intelligence that is the first cause of all things. Whatever name humanity may bestow upon it. Well, this is our kind of self-explanatory. This explanation from Kardec, that's it. Like say when you were talking technology and you see human creating amazing things and you trying to find what that person that creates that kind of technology. Oh, it's a very smart person. He or her studied a lot, research, put their work there. So it's everybody in the world is will be able to create the same thing. Probably not. And you already know that the power of his or her intelligence ended up creating things like that. Now, in another level, greater, infinite greater, let's put infinite again, it's God. Okay, what's God? The creation that we don't understand. That is the cause. And if somebody else wanna like comment this question? Lolo, I think it's you said that's gonna be 8 and 9, right? 2 questions?
No, I said 2 questions, but one is the 8, the other one is more into the end.
Oh, okay.
Can I say something real quick? I think like this book, it keep the questions by Kardec and with the answers by the spirits. It's pretty much the spirits are telling us like, dude, don't try to humanize God. With the knowledge that you have and the words that you know, it's pretty much impossible. It's almost funny because we just understand what we can see. You know, we have this thing of like, oh, I can see, I can touch, so I don't understand, or it's not real. So that's pretty much like what the spirit says all the time by their answers. If you go further, like, don't try to put God in a box because we don't have the knowledge. But the beauty behind this, about this book that I read a little bit because we've been studying, is that they don't just say that and that's it. They give you a message. They say, hey, I understand that you don't understand God, But how about we work in yourself
It's
first?
gonna be the last
You
question.
know, like work on your own love, work on your charity. Maybe you're gonna find out what is God after that. So I like it because the spirits are not just stubborn, just don't tell us. They pass a message.
Yeah, that's gonna be further. What he's talking about right now, that's you're gonna see the answers of the spirits saying exactly what he said about trying to understand ourselves first. That's amazing for me. That's why the chapter one is my favorite by far. All the chapters is amazing, but the chapter one is my favorite by far. And so it's 6:30 already, and as I said, we have another meeting at 7, which I'm gonna be the one giving the lecture. And that's nice. I have to take our time to understand. You guys can pretty much see that it's a lot to discuss and to put our thoughts out there. You just started. We can stop on this question 9, and it's going to be more 7 questions. I'm not wrong.
I think it's 6.
It's 6. Yeah, I'm gonna
Yeah.
start with 10. Yeah. And
You change the subtopic.
and yes, change the subtopic, and then you're gonna start chapter 2 after that.
I think if I can say something,
Of course you can.
I think instead of having the schedule, because as we can see, hopefully we all keep coming back, Jimmy and Rob. It's very interesting. And if we, like, for example, you were very kind at the beginning to say, don't rush. I think we have to follow, the questions. If next week we finish only the chapter 1, I think whatever the time that we spend in the chapters, it's regardless of having to finish that chapter on that day. Does that make sense? Because it's very rich.
Yeah, we don't need to finish in the same day. Exactly.
Yeah. So this way, we have more also, like reading more, and I know it's gonna be more deep. The chapters from now on. The first time studying too, and I am very into talking more about it. So I just think that the schedule is nice, but I think this is more rich, like going more deep into the answers. And if we take more time, we take more time.
Yeah. Well, that's the idea of this study. Take our time to go deep and digging on these questions in order to everybody understand and believe. That's gonna be the first for some of you, but it's not gonna be the last time studying this book. Trust me. This is a lifetime studying.
That's what I can do
Yeah.
now.
Yeah, because of my mistake, I'm sorry. We just started late today, but I'm trying next time. Don't do anything wrong. But next time is gonna be Carolina, so she's gonna continue from question 10, starting with question 10. But I just want to say that let me stop sharing here. Sorry, then I can see all of you. Yay, here you go. I just want to understand that I'm so glad. I'm very, very, very happy right now that I can have all of you here studying. And it's, as Thiago was saying, that it's a very engaging book. You engage yourself because it's amazing. Even if you're not believe, or if we not agree, let's say that, it's still you want to study more, you want to dig in, and that's just the start. There's just the first book to dig in other books. So next week we are going to have at 5 p.m. the gospel, and the following week.
Are we doing that? You want to continue doing at 5:30, so maybe they can join us too?
Yeah, it could be. If everybody's fine for 5:30, so you can do even the gospel on 5:30.
Yeah, I think it's better if we keep the same time so it doesn't get confusing.
Great. Yeah, I think it's a good idea, Samantha. Okay, so 5:30 every Tuesday, English lectures, but next week is going to be the gospel, and the following week on the 16th, okay, put it down in your calendar, are going to be the Spirit book study. We're going to continue chapter 1, and then everybody's going to have the time to reread the chapter.
No, next, amiga, Next week is 16th. So on the 16th is the Spirits book.
Oh yeah.
And then 23rd is gonna be
I got you in the 9 already.
the book. Yeah.
Next week is gonna be the mid of the month. Oh my.
Red means today.
Yeah, so 9 today. Tiago's, I'm opening my calendar here, okay? I think you can see. And Tiago's, red is today swelling, just let you know.
The little number highlighted, it's today.
I'm all over of numbers because I'm all spirits books today.
Well, she studied the whole day today, the whole day yesterday. So I'll give her credit.
Yeah, it's like so many numbers in my mind right now. Okay, but I just want to say thank for all of you. Thank you so much. I'm glad, Robin, Jim, you are the reasons that you were speaking English and put yourself to learn more. Thank you so much. I'm grateful of that and join us to study. And I can tell already, both of you have a very good comments. We like it. So you can be more engaged and everybody else.
This was very good. I really enjoyed the discussion. It's a fascinating book.
It is.
Are we recording? Are you still going recording all this?
I think it's still recording, but
Oh,
normally we cut the end of the videos.
Okay, okay. I was going to
Jimmy,
say
there is a
something.
book, there's a movie about it too. Kardec is called. The movie.
Yeah. No, I was going to say something. I didn't know if it was appropriate to be recorded.
You can talk. That's
All
fine.
right. I just wanted to say this is not coming from me. There will be another Spiritist Center, and I was I'm like, I don't think so. There's too much that's gone on. There's finances, which are a reality, but according to what I was told, there will definitely be one. How it's going to manifest, I do not know. And then I was told, maybe you could help me with this. I wrote it down. I think it's in Portuguese, okay? I'm not sure. I was told about not having medo, M-E-D-O.
Yes.
Is that a word in Portuguese?
Yes, it is.
It said not to have that. And then it said, I don't know, F-A-Y-T-H.
F. Oh.
Is that supposed to be faith?
Faith?
I don't know. It was a faith or F-A-Y-T. Well, anyway, that's what I was told.
Huh.
And that there was going to be another center, and that they were very determined about doing that.
Here
And
in
it's
town?
huh?
Here in town?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
But a different location.
Here.
A different location in town, and that kind of be prepared because there's going to be a lot of different other people coming, and that a lot of these people are going to be very troubled people, and that it was starting a new chapter. The center was starting a new chapter, but these beings are very determined for this to happen.
Yeah.
So how that will be, they create a vibration, or maybe an idea will come, or someone comes along that assists with this. I don't know. And I tried to put this out of my head, but I couldn't. So there you are. Well, I am just the messenger. I mean, just relaying what I got.
Yeah, we kind of working on the situation that we know that we're not going to stop for some reason. I mean, we don't have the place yet because I don't think that's appropriate for the moment.
Right.
But I have no doubt, Jimmy, that when the time comes, we will find another location, another place, and especially working with the charity, helping the homeless, doing like spiritual treatment. I mean, and everything that we have to do. Until then, we will continue to do it online because we feel all the good spirits with us. They are with us. We can feel the vibration. We all know that, right?
Yes, I do.
Now you see, I believe you were in Brazil. You speak Portuguese somehow.
Yeah, you did, Jen.
I don't know.
Did.
These words come.
So-
If I get more words,
so-
you can translate for me.
So say it again. What's MADO mean?
It means scare, fear.
Ah.
And
Medo.
then
Oh, okay. It's like miedo and
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yes.
they were saying not to have whatever that is.
Oh, that I'm not afraid.
I mean, I don't speak Portuguese. I just give you what
I
I
think-
what I hear, and
I think the I think it's more so don't have fear, not right now, but
Yeah.
when certain
Oh, when
things
it comes.
happen
Oh yeah.
in the
Oh, yeah.
future.
Mhm.
Yeah, I can understand that because since
Oh yeah.
Jim said it's gonna be different people, it's gonna be a challenge. Probably by the time they come, so you
Yeah.
are ready. Don't have medo.
and these spirits, it's very interesting because it's like a collective. They're not so separated individually. It's hard, if you sense an individual spirit, it's very much its own entity. Like me and you, we perceive ourselves very separate. I mean, of course, there's a oneness, but our perception is that we are very separate. These beings are like a collective, which to me means they're very evolved. It's almost like their ego or their separate sense of self is very fine. So they're very evolved beings and very serious about all this. They're very determined and very serious, and there's just no doubt about it. This is going to happen. The situation will appear. It will be there. So I've done my part. I said what I was told.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
We appreciate
You're welcome.
Thank
It's
you.
in much need. The city is in much need, so we will continue. We do what we can because we know we're not alone.
And it was in the sense too that you specifically were going to be pleasantly surprised.
Me?
Yes, you were in for a surprise in a pleasant way. That way you wouldn't expect, and that was it.
That's good. Thank you.
Jimmy, we were told once the work will continue. A lot of workers will come and a lot will go, but the work has to continue. So
And also, we receive a message saying that the Americans will come to work.
Yes, yeah, and a lot of trouble.
I'm counting on both
Trouble.
you too. I'm already including you two.
Yeah, you guys are the first ones.
You two are right in the package. Come on.
You and Rob are the first ones. You guys opened the door, actually.
Oh boy.
Well, you already know that, Rob. I don't have to tell you that.
And you are so glad. Trust me, you all are here.
Yeah, so let's finish soon because we have to start the
Yeah,
other
we
meeting.
do. Tell me about it.
Okay.
So you finished, Carol?
I can, yeah.
Let's do it.
All right, so I want to invite you all to close our eyes so we can calm our hearts and minds. It's always an amazing pleasure to be among friends, to be connect with our mentors, with all the good spirits that are here with us. Also, I want to thank you, God, for the opportunity to put us together. It doesn't matter the location that we are all connected. Our minds and hearts, our positive vibration. And thank for the opportunity to learn with the Spirit's book, with the teachings of our good friends, with all the work that we have to do. Please, dear God, enlighten our mind, open our hearts, straighten our faith and our belief, that we will be ready when the work comes. Help us become better human beings every day, letting go our ego, our pride, our anger, our sadness, and keep our heads elevated and connected with good means. Thank you one more time for this amazing study. Bless our homes, bless our lives, and we can keep these good feelings and lots of love until we connect together next week for our next meeting. And so be it.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you.
Very
Thank
good, my
you,
friend.
everyone.
Thank you, everyone.
Well, good job.
Thank you.
Very
Thank you.